Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of Coker Culture, and more specifically, welcome back to the Psych-Zone. School has started back here for us already, and so with that, I decided now would be the perfect time to delve back into some psychological content. It's been a while. I know a lot of people have been missing it. I've been missing it. I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to teach psychology again and being able to have that class because I didn't have any in the spring. So it's almost been a year since I've been teaching this stuff, and just being back in the classroom and teaching it, my passion, I feel like, has come completely back. And I've thoroughly enjoyed getting to talk about even just the introductory concepts. And so I was racking my brain trying to think about what I wanted to talk about for this opening episode, because I do have a major topic that I'm wanting to discuss on the Psych-Zone here, and hopefully we'll get to that soon, but it's going to require a special guest, and so just trying to arrange our schedules to make that work. Hopefully that'll come to you soon. So today I decided I wanted to talk about a field of psychology that means a lot to me. One of the schools of thought of psychology, and one that, if I were to label myself as to how I think, feel, act, etc., in the psychological realm, this is where I would find myself. So I want to take you on a journey into the realm of humanistic psychology. Okay, it's an approach that celebrates our inherent worth and potential that each individual in the world has. Okay, so in a world that we live in that's often dominated by mechanistic and reductionist thinking, humanistic psychology presents, in my opinion, a refreshing perspective that puts our own human experiences and flourishing within those at the center of its focus and area of study. Okay, so imagine with me, if you will, a young artist full of passion and creativity, striving to express their innermost emotions through their work. Okay, this artist is not merely a product of their genes and environment, so nature and nurture there, but a unique being with an intrinsic desire to showcase their self-expression and personal growth through their artwork. This vivid illustration embodies essentially the essence of what humanistic psychology is. Okay, it's a movement that champions the human spirit, personal freedom, and the pursuit of the idea of self-actualization. Before we delve deeper into the concept, I want to give you a little bit of history on humanistic psychology. So it first comes about as this field in the 1950s, okay, and it basically comes about as a response to behaviorist and psychoanalytic fields of psychology that were the two biggest at the time and are still two of the biggest today. It was pioneered by Carl Rogers and Abraham Maslow. Carl Rogers is kind of considered the father or founder of this field. Abraham Maslow really built upon that and really added a whole lot of substance, and is probably the more famous name of the two associated with this. This field of psychology sought to illuminate and showcase the positive aspects of our own human nature and explore how we as individuals can thrive and achieve our fullest potential. In essence, becoming the best possible versions of ourselves that we can. So I want to give you some of the terms next, some of the vocabulary that kind of forms the basis for what humanistic psychology is all about. So with that, I have to start with the most important, and that is self-actualization. This is a term that Maslow came up with as he defined and laid out his hierarchy of needs, with self-actualization being the top of that pyramid, the highest goal anyone could reach. Okay, it's the process of fulfilling our own unique potential and becoming that best possible version of ourself that we can be. Okay, it encourages us to embrace our passions, dreams, and aspirations and strive to achieve that personal peak, that upper echelon of being the best versions of ourselves. Okay, additionally, humanistic psychology looks at things from the holistic perspective. Okay, it views individuals as being complex beings and takes into account their thoughts, emotions, behaviors, and social contexts. We're not just the sum of all of our parts, but we're a whole greater than the sum of just our individual experiences. Another trait, characteristic that humanistic psychology values is personal responsibility. Okay, we are responsible for our choices, words, and actions. Okay, fostering an empowering sense of self-agency. By acknowledging this own freedom that we have, we gain the power to shape our desires and positively influence the world around us. And you can keep hearing that one word come back and come back and come back over and over and over again: positivity. As you guys know, that's something that I have been all about for years. For even way before this channel, I had folks create shirts saying Cokernators and that we speak fluent positivity. And I've always been about the power of positivity and what it can be and looking on the bright side. So you can kind of see, for those of you that know me and know what I'm about, how well this particular field of psychology lines up with everything that I stand for and everything this channel stands for. Then the last term, before we get back into some things that aren't just vocabulary, is unconditional positive regard. And this is something that Rogers, the founder of humanistic psychology himself, introduced. Unconditional positive regard emphasizes the importance of empathy, of acceptance, and genuine care for other people. By providing a non-judgmental as well as a supportive environment, we allow individuals to explore their emotions as well as their problems and struggles, helping lead them to a better state of self-awareness and hopefully more personal growth on top of that. So those are the important vocab. Let's think about how this could be applied practically in our lives. How can we apply humanistic psychology? Well, there's several different areas that we can look at it from. The first is the one, in my opinion, that lines up perfectly with humanistic psychology, and that's education. Okay, humanistic principles encourage student-centered learning, which is what education is all about nowadays, where educators focus particularly on individual needs, interests, and strengths of every single student. This approach fosters a love of learning, hopefully inspiring that intrinsic motivation within students that a lot of them lack today, and encourages personal growth rather than just memorizing facts and standards, but actual learning growth. Another area would be therapy and counseling, something that goes, of course, hand in hand with psychology and what a lot of folks think of off the top of their head to begin with when it comes to psychology. Humanistic psychology forms the foundation of, just like student-centered learning, client-centered therapy, where therapists offer empathy and that idea of unconditional positive regard to try to facilitate the client's self-exploration, so more introspection there, and their healing journey. You can also see this in leadership and organizational development, as far as, if you're higher up on the food chain, there are leaders who adopt this particular philosophy, or at least some principles of this philosophy, tend to focus on the well-being of their employees, autonomy, and personal growth, which can help foster, of course, a very positive working environment, increased motivation for their workers, which of course will therefore increase productivity as well. So lots of positives there. And then you can also see humanistic psychology within relationships. Applying these values in our relationships promotes open communication, empathy, and respect, which in turn can nurture deeper connections that we can make with other people, regardless if we're talking just friendships, if we're talking relationships between colleagues at work, or of course romantic relationships as well. Okay, now as with any paradigm or area of study, humanistic has its fair share of challenges and criticisms as well. Some argue that it can be overly idealistic, and that not all individuals have all of the same opportunities for self-actualization and achieving the top of that pyramid due to either social, economic, or cultural constraints based on where they live. And I'm not just talking about in the United States. And the points there are valid. It's very difficult for somebody in a lesser developed country to achieve some of the, not just self-actualization, but even some of the other points of the hierarchy of needs that are closer to the top, simply because of what is expected of them in their everyday lives. Additionally, measuring and then trying to quantify the humanistic concepts can be challenging when it comes to research in scientific context, and how they can do that within behaviorism and psychoanalysis. It's just not as easy with humanistic psychology. So, humanistic psychology, kind of concluding and wrapping things up here, offers a very powerful lens through which we can understand and appreciate the complexity of our human nature. By embracing our own inherent uniqueness, taking personal responsibility, and fostering empathy within our interactions that we have, we can truly unlock our potential for self-actualization and lead very, very fulfilling lives. So as we continue to navigate the complexities of our day-to-day life in the modern world, let us not forget the profound wisdom that humanistic psychology can offer to us. And that's the belief that each of us possesses an innate capacity for growth, compassion, and transformation. Okay? Embrace and be proud of your individuality. Celebrate your own uniqueness and what sets you apart from everyone else. And embark on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. Together, we can create a world that thrives on the principles of humanistic psychology, a world where every individual is encouraged and supported in their own quest for self-actualization. Okay, and with that, that'll conclude this particular episode of the Psych-Zone. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please hit that like button down below, as it goes a long way to help our channel. If you have any questions, comments, or topics that you'd like to see me cover on future installments of the Psych-Zone, please drop those in the comment section. As you know, we love interacting with you guys, and I absolutely will take requests on this because I love talking just about anything psychological. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, check us out. Think about hitting that subscribe button, because we offer such a wide variety of content here for anybody and everybody. So hopefully there's something that you can find that you would enjoy here on Coker Culture, and help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers by the end of 2023. Until next time, what's your why?